So this chus of our learning should be panacea. We're starting Kuf Yud Gimel, that's 113. Oh, it's 8 lines from the bottom. Starting from 3 things. You see that? Shleish Dvarim, I'm Rabbi Shua ben Levi Mishum Anshe Yerushalayim. There are 3 things that Rabbi Shua ben Levi said in the name of the people of Yerushalayim. Rabbi Shua ben Levi is probably a first generation Amira. Talmudist. Even though he's in the Brises, but doesn't means he's after Rebbe. His father Levi was a student of Rebbe. He says the name of the people of Yerushalayim. Al Tarbe, it's Beganis, but it's probably Begagas. Begagas Mishamaisa Shahaya. Don't hang out on the roof because of the story that happened. The story that happened was David saw Bathsheba bathing on the roof. That means don't do your private things in public. We have a story, and it wasn't such a great event.
No volume.
Do you hear me, Reb Naftali? Okay. Did you hear me before? Nothing?
No, I heard you. You stopped at it. It wasn't such a great event.
Oh, okay, so good. Okay, that was the story with David and Bathsheba. Okay, so let's go back a drop. Bitcha Bagra, if your daughter reached maturity, so Shachar Abdecha V'Tenla. So then you should even redeem or release your slave and give it to her to marry. Give him to her to marry. That means that you should marry her right away, and even if it means releasing your slave as a husband. And I guess any husband is better than none. I guess that's what it means. Be careful with your wife from your first son-in-law. From her first son-in-law. My time, what's the reason for this? What is it saying? Be careful. Chisda says because of immorality. And Rav Kana Mishum Mammon. Rav Kana says that it's because of money. She's going to spend money on him. And whose money is it going to be? It's going to be your credit card. So be careful with your wife from the first son-in-law. So the Gemara says, that both of them are correct. It's not specifically one or the other, it's both of them. Rabbi Yochanan says, there's 3 people that inherit the world to come. Eluhain, these are they. Hadar Beretz Yisrael, someone that lives in Eretz Yisrael. Hamagadol Banav LeTalmud Torah, someone that sends his children to a Jewish school. Yeah, that's a big deal. So, V'amabdul alayayin b'mitzvah Shabbosis. It's someone that makes Havdalah on wine on Mitzvah Shabbos. The Gemara says, Mahi. What's the big deal in making Havdalah on wine Mitzvah Shabbos? It says the Mishayim Traditional Havdalta. So what happens is he holds himself back from finishing the bottle by Shabbos Kiddush so that he has wine for Havdalah. In the middle of drinking, it's hard to stop. But he says, no, I need some for Havdalah. He puts it aside for Havdalah. Three things Rabbi Yochanan says Hashem announces about them every day. I guess like he's impressed. Al Rava Kadar Bekrach Ve'ina Chayte. If there's a bachelor that lives in the city and he doesn't sin, in the city there's more temptation, more people. So Balani Master Abeda Lebala, a poor person that finds something, this could be his answer. He's finally he has an opportunity to get rich, found a treasure. So, but nevertheless he returns it. And also a rich person that gives his miser, sort of like his donations, privately. Because he could have put his name up on a new building, but as a dedication. But no, he does things privately. He gives up the that temptation. What we're talking about here is a person that lets go of that temptation. What's going on? Oh, well, very nice. It's good you're here. You'll see soon. The Gemara coming up. We're going to have to ask you something. Aaron. Rav Safra Rava Kadar Bekrachava. Rav Safra was a bachelor. Yeah, a bacher, same word. That dwelled in a city, and Tani Tana Kami the Rav of Safra, the Tana, is a person that quotes the Brises. He taught this Brisa, and it's interesting because it was really who was saying this? It was Rabbi Yochanan. Usually that's not called the Brisa. He taught it in front of Rav and Rav Safra, and saw upon of the Rav Safra. Rav Safra's face shone. Why? Because that was him. He's talking about a bachelor that lives in the city and he doesn't fall into the temptation with the women that live in the city. Amalei Rav Alavti Rav says, don't get excited. It wasn't about you. You're a Torah scholar. You don't have the same temptation. You're not outside in the streets. You're in the Beis Medrash the whole day. So the women are in the Viber shop. They're not, you have no connection. It's talking about Rav Chanina and Rav Aishia, Davi Ushkafi, Ba'arad Yisrael. They were shoe salesmen in the land of Israel. They would sit in the marketplace of the prostitutes. They made shoes for the prostitutes. The women would come in, they would gaze at Rav Aishia, Rav Chanina and Rav Aishia. But the Rav Chanina and Rav Aishia didn't lift up their eyes to look at them. Masayu Hachi. If these women would have to swear to each other, whatever oaths they had to take, I don't know, financial things or something, they would swear B'chayim Rabbanon Kadisha B'Arad Yisrael. They would swear in the name of the rabbis, the holy rabbis of the land of Israel. I'm so impressed with them. Like, I swear by God, they swore by the rabbis. There's three people that Hashem loves. Misha in Akayas, someone that doesn't get angry. Misha in Mishtaker, someone that doesn't get drunk. Oh well. You sunk two down. All right. Misha in Mammon al Midaisav, and someone that doesn't bear a grudge. That means he doesn't he doesn't hold it against them. He doesn't take revenge, and he what's it called in Yiddish? Fargin. Shleisha Kadosh Baruch Hu Seinan. There's three people that Hashem hates. One is someone that's not that isn't sincere. He speaks, but he doesn't mean it. His heart is different than his mouth. Here, someone has an opportunity to testify for someone else, to help the guy out, because he knows the truth. He says, It's not my legal obligation. Whatever. So that's not right. He could have saved him just by saying with the story, and he doesn't bother to do that. Also, someone that sees someone commit a immoral, does something immoral. Now, he's just one witness. So the court doesn't believe him because he's just one witness. But he goes and he testifies anyway. And knowing that that's not going to be a testimony, so really all he did was gossip. Because there was no legal, there was nothing, there was nothing acceptable from a testimony from us and from an individual. Okay, I went on my phone. You hear me now? Let's go off that. Let's do this. Sorry. What was the last, where did we get?
About one witness. You hear me? I think he can't hear me now. It's not working.
Oh, I don't know. Professor, do you hear me? Naftali, you hear me?
Now I hear you.
Can you? Okay, yeah, this is really strange. My sister.
I think you were saying something about one witness when I lost it. Oh, I lost you again.
Going on and off. Can you hear me, Rev Naftali? Can you hear me?
Can hear you and see you.
Okay, so did you hear about Tuvia and Sigurd?
That's exact. You just said those words when you froze.
Okay, so what happened was Tuvia committed a sin and Sigurd went to Rav Papa to test.
Sorry, I can't hear you.
Sorry?
Oh, I can't hear you anymore. Before, it was okay, but now I think it's really low now, the volume. I can't hear it.
Oh boy. Eliezer, can you hear me now?
No.
Rev Naftali, you hear me?
I hear you. I do.
Okay. You want to text Eliezer that the other guys, yeah, you know, do that. Adjust his.
You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to close it, and then I'm going to come back again.
Okay. Okay, great. Okay. Yeah, Avram Nosson says everyone should come back to show.
Yeah.
Come back to there. Okay. So Ziegler gets Malchus. Why? Because he testified about Tuvia, and there's only one witness. So he's shocked. He tells Rav Papa, Malay Tuvia Chata the Ziegler Mingat. Tuvia sins and Ziegler gets Malchus. I didn't sin. It was Tuvia that sinned. You're not supposed to be. It's not supposed to. That name. I can't believe you. You just some plain gossip. Yeah, this is a proof to the Ched's story. It said. You get all the merits. So it's the other way. Here, Tuvia does a sin, and who gets the sin? It's the guy that says Lashon Hara about it, and that's where he gets It's an interesting point. Okay. Amar Reb Shmuel bar Reb Yitzchak. Amar Rav. Shmuel bar Yitzchak says the name of Rav. Okay. So even though he's not allowed to testify because it's just an individual, but nevertheless, he's allowed to hate. In other words, Zikud is allowed to hate Tuvia for what he did. He didn't do anything to him. He committed just an immoral crime. The pasuk tells us that if you see your enemy's donkey that's falling under the load, so you're supposed to help. What it says, your enemies. What do you mean enemy? My son, who's the enemy? If you're talking about that, it's a non-Jewish enemy. It says we're not talking about a non-Jewish enemy. We're talking about a Jewish person. Jewish person. How is it that you have a Jewish person that's your enemy? It's got to be a Jewish person. Are you allowed to hate another Jew? You can't hate your brother in your heart. It must be that there's witnesses that this person committed a crime. So you're going to hate him. So Gemara says, then everyone hates him. If there was a testimony in Bezdin, why are we saying Seinacha, your enemy? It sounds like it's just your enemy that has a donkey that's falling and you're obligated to go help him. Allah is talking about Ki Gavna. In this case, the Chazi Beyud, you're the only one that saw it. No one testified in court, and you're also not supposed to testify because there's no one else with you. So it's just one witness. So if that's the case, then you're allowed to hate him, but no one else is allowed to hate him. That's right. You see your enemy's donkey that's falling on. You see this guy, this Tuvia's donkey is falling under its load. Zigud has to go and help him. Tosfos has a question. Why does it say your enemy and just say anyone? It says no. It wants you to go to your enemy to help him so that you should force your Yetzer Hara to subdue your Yetzer Hara, to subjugate the Yetzer Hara. 1 second. Over here we're saying that he's supposed to hate it. He's supposed to hate him. Now we're telling him that he should overcome the hatred. So Tosfos says like this. Taisus says, Zigud hates Tuvia because he knows what he does. But then Tuvia recognizes that Zigud hates him, so Tuvia hates Zigud back. But then Zigud starts to hate Tuvia because Tuvia hates him back. So then it's not an original hatred from the crime. It's because it snowballs, and and because of that's the part that you have to overcome. The original crime was very small. It's a small hatred. Yeah, it's like a halachic hatred, not like an emotional hatred. Okay. Rav Nachman Bar Yitzchak Amar mitzvah l'snaisa. Rav Nachman Bar Yitzchak says more than what Rav Shmuel Bar Yitzchak says. Rav Nachman Bar Yitzchak, it sounds like it's his brother, right? Shmuel Bar Yitzchak, Rav Nachman Bar Yitzchak. Rav Nachman Bar Yitzchak says not just that you're allowed to hate this person that committed the crime, it's a mitzvah to hate him. Shenemar Yiras Hashem Sinira, those that fear God hate evil. Sinasra. Okay, Amar Rav Acha Brei de Rav Rav Ashi. Yeah, where does it say that? Yeah, sounds like it. He says, 1 second, in Eila Metzias it says, Kedei is Yitzray. There's a mitzvah to hate him, that as water reflects the face, so does the heart of man. And then he says, on that extra sinner, that's where you have the kfiyas yitzra. Okay, so Rav Acha Brei de Rava asks Rav Ashi, what about to tell the person's teacher about what this person did, that he should also know that he should be able to hate him also. If this person is so reliable that the teacher will trust him, so then okay. If you're just a regular person, then don't go over and start spreading rumors and saying that I'm doing it because, for your good. I have to tell you, you should know that I see your family with so-and-so. You should know he's not such a special guy. That you're not supposed to say. Taner Rabbanan. Stored in the Brisa, Shleisha Chayim Ein Chaim. There's 3 people, their life is not considered living. Yeah, this is the expression, go buy a life. That's just for these guys. What is it? Who are these people? Rachmanim. People that are overly compassionate. Everything that they see is overwhelmingly disturbing. Yeah, I only know it's from Rashi, Rashbam. Yeser Midai, he says. Right. Ratchanim, it's people that get angry at everything. Vanini Adas are people that are finicky, right? They can't eat anything. They can't. Everything is uncomfortable for them. Nothing is clean enough, and yeah, like germophobic. Right? Today, it's becoming a bigger issue. Okay. Rabbi Yosef says, "Kulu es nubi." Oh, that's not good for your business. I have all of them. I have all of them. Rabbi Yosef, apparently, because he was blind, somehow he was more sensitive to he didn't know when someone cried out how serious it was. So he just felt compassion for everyone. And then also he would get angry at everything, I guess, because he couldn't see what was actually happening. And he was Anini Adas, he was also very finicky. Yeah, maybe because of his blindness, your other senses get stronger. Okay, Taner Rabbanan, it was taught in the Brisa, Shleisha Seinim says there's 3 people that hate each other, three pairs that hate each other. Veilohein, Haklavim, the dogs, they're always fighting. Tarnagoyim, the chickens. Chavarim. Here is the Persian priests. You hear, Rabbanan? Yeah. What do you say? Do you remember the Persian priests? They're always fighting like the dogs. The Yeshayimrim, and some say Afazainas, also the prostitutes. They also fight. They hate each other. The Yeshayimrim, some say also the Torah sages of Bavel. They're also always fighting. Yeah. I don't know if that was the comparison, but there's always arguments amongst the sages. Now, there's a pshat that says that the Torah scholars add peace into the world, right? You see that? So someone explained that because on Rosh Hashanah, there's a certain amount of arguments that come down into the world. So if the Torah scholars argue about the halacha and all of this, they use up all the machlekes. There's nothing left. No machlekes left for everyone else. Okay, Tanra Rabbanan Shleisha Oyevim said, there's three people that love each other. Elohein, Hagerim, the converts, they love each other. Avadim, the servants, and Arvim and ravens. Yeah, I don't know the significance of that. Arba'a in adas sevaltam. There's four that no one can handle. There's four things that are just unbearable. Elohim, they are dal geya, a poor person that's arrogant. Ba'asher makachish, and a rich person that refuses to pay money that's claimed that people say he owes. Yeah. V'zakein minat, and an old man that acts immorally. Parnas miskala tzib b'chinam, and also a leader of the community that misuses his authority. Well, his whole authority came from the people. But why is he so special? Well, the people voted him in, or even if not, but his greatness is that he's the ruler over the people. So it's the people that, and nevertheless, then he mistreats them. And it could also mean the Rashbam says that he jumps ship. He doesn't. He's only there when everything is good to collect the tax money, but he's not there to fix the streets when all of a sudden he disappears. Okay. Another thing that's unbearable is someone that divorces his wife once, a second time, and then he brings her back. He keeps divorcing her and bringing her back. People can't handle it. They're like, come on, make up your mind. Have some stability in your life. Tanakama. Why is this only Yeshayimrim? What about the Tanakama, the first opinion? What were they saying? He said there's only four people that are unbearable. Some say a fifth, but the first opinion didn't hold that this was unbearable. They thought this was bearable. Well, you can actually explain it. Sometimes he really doesn't like her, but he divorced her and he can't afford the ksuba, the divorce settlement. So he has to marry her back. Inami, or there's children, and it was impractical to divorce her, so he marries her back. Okay, so why did he divorce her a second time? Okay, I don't know. Chamisha dvarim tziva Canaan espanav. There's five things that Canaan, one of the sons of Noach, told his sons. Now, it's not necessarily that he told his sons. It means they have five habits, which are so. Sons of Canaan. Canaan is the son of Noach, right? It's a son of Cham, a grandson of Noach, son of Cham. Sorry, a grandson of Noach.
Find all these things, find in the black
book. Oh yeah. I did not say that. Okay. Yeah, Yitzi's gonna say my client is insane. Okay, so five things Canaan told his sons. First thing is probably the hardest to understand because we're saying like in everything is derogatory, and then we say like something very positive. So first of all, he says love each other. Then he says Vavas Gezel, you should love theft. Evos Azima, you should love immorality. B'sinuas Adenechin, you should hate your boss, hate your master. B'al tadabru emes, never say the truth. Shisha She should. Look, we have no problem if it's the generalization that's the issue. That's the. There's individuals everywhere. You know.
You see, even the Torah says the same thing. What do we have to say no?
Okay, here. She said, there's 6 things that are said about a horse. A horse, right? They love to mate. They love battle. They have a haughty spirit, arrogant. They hate to sleep. They eat a lot. And they excrete just a little. I wouldn't know. And some say they also like to kill the master, the rider in battle. What do? They jump back and they throw the guy off. Shiva menudim lashamayim. There's 7 people that are excommunicated from heaven. Elohein. And they are Yehudi Shein Leisha. This is a very strange expression. I've never seen that expression. Yehudi in the. That's not how usually it says Yisrael. No? I was just, it's like, it's against the grain. No, it doesn't. I know, I understand, but all the time I see that I read the Gemara all the time. I never see it talks about Jewish people as Yehudi. Anyway, there's another girsa here. It says me shein leisha, someone that's not married. V'sheyesh leisha vein lebanim. Or this is hard to understand. Someone that's married but doesn't have children. Taisus explains, without this, it wouldn't be understandable. Taisus explains that it's on purpose that he doesn't have children. Yeah. What's happening? Maybe it means he's supposed to marry another wife. If he waits 10 years, he doesn't have children. Maybe that's the pshat. Okay. Someone that has children, but doesn't send them to a Jewish school. He doesn't raise them to study Torah. So, yeah, my father has this story with a Reform rabbi in Rhode Island that there was an Orthodox school in the public school. So he asked his professor from Harvard, should I send my children to the Orthodox, or should I send them to the public school? So this professor, Harry Wolfson was his name, he says, should send them to the Orthodox. He says, because treif to learn how to eat on their own, but Hebrew never. You want to give them, you get free choice. You have to send them to a frum school. They can decide later. Otherwise, they don't have choice. Okay, you have to send them to a Jewish school. Mishain like tefillin b'reishai, tefillin b'zrayai. Another person, someone that doesn't wear tefillin on his head and on his arm. Tzitzis bebigda, he doesn't put tzitzis on his garment. Mezuzah bepischai, he doesn't put a mezuzah on his door. V'aminei min olam meraglav, and someone that doesn't wear shoes. Why is that so terrible? I mean, that's his own doing.
No, because it says you have to watch yourself, right?
I know, it's just like in the context of this, it's talking about someone that doesn't get married and someone that doesn't have children, someone that doesn't train his children, educate them, and he doesn't wear tefillin. It seems to be like all religious like obligations, and then it throws in, someone that doesn't wear shoes. No, that's like it's not a religious thing. It looked like it was telling me religious thing. Okay. Oh.
What life you have if you don't keep all those things? Like Abel.
Maybe that's the pshat. Maybe it is a religious thing. It's because it's like he's looking like a mourner. That's what Rabban is saying. Okay. Someone that doesn't join in a Sudas mitzvah, which is like a bris milah or a wedding, which he should be taking part of. Amar Rabba bar Bachana Amar Rabbi Shmuel bar Marta Amar Rav Mishum Rabbi Yossi Yeshutzel. Rabba bar Bachana says in the name of Shmuel bar Marta, says in the name of Rav, in the name of Rabbi Yossi Yeshutzel. We'll see more about that in a minute. Minayin shein sheilim bekaldayim. How do you know that you're not supposed to ask the astrologers? Where does it say that in the Torah? The astrologers can tell you all types of great things. You know, should I take the trip? Should I marry this person? They have all types of advice. What is the number to the winning numbers to the lottery? Shneimar tamim tiyam Hashem alekecha. Says you should be sincere with Hashem. That's it. Just faith. Don't mix into these fortune tellers. How do you know that if your friend is greater than you, even in one thing, that you're supposed to give him respect? Shneimar kol kibel diruach yiseirbe umalcha asis lakimaisa kol malchusa. Talking about Daniel, that originally he was just one of the advisors, but then when Nebuchadnezzar sees that he's more wise than the other one, so he puts him in charge of everyone. Okay. By Yesheves al Dam Toya Sul Shamish. How did this come in? Oh, this is a statement from Rabbi bar Bachana. Okay, what's happening here is that a woman gives birth, so she's tamei. If it's a boy, she's tamei for 7 days, impure. 7 days. If it's a girl, she's impure for 14 days. If it's a boy, after those 7 days, she has 33 days of blood of purity, called dam toya, blood of purity, and which means that even if she's seeing blood during those 33 days, so basically from the birth until day 40, excluding the first 7, she's pure. She's pure. Even if she's seeing blood, she can be with her husband. If it's a girl, there's 66 days of purity. So until day 80 from the birth. So it's 14 plus 66 till day 80. So what happens is, after that day 40 and day 80, if she sees blood, she's tamei, and she can't be with her husband. But in order to make a demarcation of now the blood is going to be tamei, so we say like this: Yesheves al Dam Toya Sul Shamish, that they have to stop having relations on the 41st day, 41st night, and the 81st night, to show that now it's like a new system. Now, if she sees blood, she's going to be tamei. So ad kama, how long do they need to separate? Amarav Aina. Rav says, and Aina, it's brought in Shulchan Aruch, although it's not taught at all. But there is this concept, because we don't have it. For us, it's not relevant because we don't keep this dam tayar for already 1,000 years. We don't keep it. Tana, who Yosef Yeshutzel, who Yosef Ababli, knows we're more strict. Who Isi ben Gurarye, who Isi ben Yehuda, who Isi ben Gamliel, who Isi ben Mahalal. Just telling us that this fellow, I guess a Tana, Yosef Yeshutzel, has other names. Yosef Ababli, Isi ben Gurarye, there's a whole bunch of names. So when you see him in other places, quoted, you know that's who he is. What's a Mashmai? But what is his real name? Isi ben Akav Yishmai. That's his real name. Alias. Yeah. Is it right? Yeah. The Social Security will take the money from anyone, but then when you want to get it, you have to do a lot of proving that I'm that person. Okay, Hu Reb Yitzchak ben Tavla. The Gemara says similarly. Hu Reb Yitzchak ben Tavla, Hu Reb Yitzchak ben Chakla, Hu Reb Yitzchak ben Eloi, Hu Reb Yitzchak ben Acha. We're on top of 114. Hu Reb Yitzchak ben Acha the Shmaitza. Hu Reb Yitzchak ben Pinchas the Agadata. When there's a halacha, his name is Reb Yitzchak ben Acha. When he's saying an Agadata, which is the tales of the Talmud, then his name is Reb Yitzchak ben Pinchas. V'simanach, to remember this, Shimon Achai v'Reya, or Shema Yachi v'Ami. Listen up, my brothers and friends, or my brothers and nation. Shimu is Shmaitza, is halacha. And Acha is saying that his name is Rabbi Yitzchak bar Acha. Okay, Amar Rabba bar Bechana, Rabbi Yechon, Mishmedi, Rabbi Yehuda bar Rabbi Eloi. Rabba bar Bechana says the name of Rabbi Yechon and the name of Rabbi Yehuda bar Rabbi Eloi. Achol batzel v'shev b'tzel. That's like a pun. Eat onions and you'll be able to save your house. You'll be able to sit in the shade. Don't spend a lot of money on food. Your house is more important. Go cheap on your food. Just eat onions. Cook them, I think. And don't run after geese and chicken. Your heart will run after you. That means that you'll be drawn to always eat fancy things. You start eating out in restaurants and fancy, expensive meals. It's hard to stop. You should diminish your food and drink, the taste of al-dirascha, and add to your house. Kiyasa ula, there's got to be a spiritual meaning to that. Your house probably means the world to come. Okay, Kiyasa ula amar mitla matlin marava. Ula said that in Israel they had a parable for this. The achal alisa tashib alisa. It's a pun. Someone that eats the fat tail of the sheep hides in the attic because the creditors are coming to collect their money, and he's busy spending it on expensive food. Dachal kukuli, but someone that eats vegetables, akikli the masa shachiv, he can even lay in the garbage near the garbage dump in the city where everyone passes by. He doesn't have to hide from anyone. Okay. This is the important part. Everything is important, but this is for the Seder. What's happening here? Mazku like Kesrishan is we're up to Kaddish by the Seder. The Mishnah previously said that you don't eat before the Seder. Now we're saying that when you pour the first cup, first you say Baruch atah Hashem Elokeinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvosav v'ratzabanu, right? I'm sorry. And you say the Kiddush. When you finish the Kiddush, Mekadesh Yisrael Vazmanim, you say Baruch atah Hashem Elokeinu melech haolam bar pi hagafen, and then you drink. Beisil says no. You start off with Baruch atah Hashem Elokeinu melech haolam bar pi hagafen, and then you say Baruch atah Hashem Elokeinu melech haolam asher bacha banu mikalam. You say the Kiddush. You finish off Mekadesh Yisrael Vazmanim, and then you drink. The Gemara says, Tanu Rabbanan, we start in the Brisa, Dvarim sheben Beishami Beisil Besuda. There are things that are different between Beishami and Beisil. There's a whole list of them. Over here, we'll just list one. Beishami and Beishami says you say the Kiddush blessing first, and then you say the Hagafen. Because why are you saying the Hagafen now? Why are you drinking wine? Because it's Shabbos, because it's Yom Tov. So, that's the cause that comes first. Second reason. Also, Shabbos came in, or Yom Tov started, and you didn't drink wine yet. So therefore, what came first? Kiddush. And then you say, so you do what came first. First come, first serve. Yisrael says no. First you say the bracha on the wine, and then you say the Kiddush, because you wouldn't be saying Kiddush if you didn't have the wine. The wine is causing the Kiddush to be said. Is this 100% true? I mean, if you don't have wine, do you say Kiddush? Yes. So what does Beisil mean?
I think it's the concept.
I guess the takana. I said Kiddush in Shemon Esrei. I said whatever with the same blessing. Baruch atah Hashem Kadosh Yisrael Vazmanim. I said the same. Okay, that's one point. And we always do what's more frequent first. And since wine is more frequent than Kiddush, so you say the bracha on the wine first. Wine you can have during the week. You have for Havdalah, you have for benching. You have it all the time. You have wine, and Kiddush is just on the holidays and on Shabbos. Hilchas HaKedir Beisil, the halacha is like Beisil. My davar acher. Why does it have to say? Beisil says gives us another reason, because wine is more frequent. Maybe you'll say that Beis Shammai has two. Beisil only has one. So the Gemara says, because Beis Shammai said that the Kiddush has two reasons to be first. It causes it, and also it came first. So therefore, Beisil is matching Beis Shammai. And the Gemara says, Halacha Gediv Beisil, Pshita, the Nafik Pascal. I don't need a Gemara to tell me that the halacha is like Beisil. It's always like Beisil. There was a heavenly voice that came out in Yavne and said that we're going to paskin like Beisil. Some say that this statement was before that heavenly voice came out. Or you could say that it's after the Baskal. Rabbi Yeshua, and it's the opinion of Rabbi Yeshua that says that we don't listen to a Baskal. Why? Because we had a story where there was an argument between Rabbi Eliezer and Rabbi Yeshua, and a heavenly voice came out and said that don't go away from the words of Rabbi Eliezer, he's always correct. And Rabbi Yeshua says the Torah is not in the heaven. If that's the case, so the Gemara needs to say that the halach is like Beisil. We can't just follow a heavenly voice. Famous Tosfos over here. Why do we follow the Baskal of Beisil, but not the? But we do follow, but we don't follow the Baskal of Rabbi Eliezer. Okay. Let's leave it over here. Let's leave it by this Mishnah.